It was confusing to me then, and some things are confusing to me now, Pish. So maybe you can help clear them up in our next segment, what I learned. And in this segment, ladies and gentlemen, this is Pish's rundown of the games that were, the games that happened from our previous episode and what went down. Pish, what did you learn?
School's in session, everybody. Take your seats. If you got something to chime in on, go ahead and raise your hand. We'll get you in. So the first game was the Nets. We lost 123-90. The Nets are deep as hell, folks. I did not realize that Aldridge had not retired. Apparently he's back and he's very good.
And he came back.
Yeah. This team is so deep they can be missing two of the best all-time players, as they will later in this, what I learned, and still put out just star caliber players and crush it out of the park. Even though they have the best bench, though, they still have the worst unis in the league. I don't understand why they're basic white and black. It makes me feel like I'm watching TV in the 60s. Put some color on those things.
What's wrong with this thing?
And also don't have a logo. Don't be the Nets and have a logo with no net.
Kids. Fair point. Fair point.
All right. So then the Wizards, or the Bullets, as I like to call them, or maybe someday they'll become the Wizlets, or maybe the Buzzards. I don't know. But we lost that game 104-92. What is a Spencer Dinwiddie? I had to do some Googling on that one. Wasn't sure what he was about. Conversely, a lot of people have searched who the hell is Franz Wagner when they play us. And in this game, I want to know, where is Franz Wagner, because he kind of disappeared here for a couple of games. He did this during this stretch where it was like, where's he at? What's going on? Our team's keen on him, or is he not being as aggressive? What's going on? Bench points. We had 23 bench points in that game. And in a game that we were kind of in-ish, we could have used some bench scoring if we would have had some. It could have been a different outcome. But that takes me into the Hawks game on November 15th, which we lost 129-111. The Hawks had 4 guys go for 20 points, which is amazing. Kudos to them. Franz was back in this game, though, as he got 19 points. And the bench, was back, as 43 points off this bench, with Ross contributing 19 points. And you know what? We lost this game, but scoring 111 against a team the Hawks caliber, I felt like it was not a complete and total loss. I saw a lot of good things. And when we lose games that we can still score in the hundreds, I just like what I'm seeing. I want to see the ball going through the hoop more. Then it was on to the Knicks on November 17th, the 104-98 win. Go ahead and hit that bing bong bell for this one. Julius Randle thinks he's a 3-point shooter now. I would argue that after he went, I think, 4 for 10 from the 3-point line, that he may or may not be. But overall, the Knicks went 16 for 49 from deep, which is part of the reason that they weren't putting up as many points as they did in the first matchup they had with us. And Magic.
You mean when they shot historically amazingly from 3? That game?
Historically amazing. Yes, that was the only way that they could beat us, is what I'm saying. They had to shoot historically good. All the Magic starters were in double figures in this one, and Ross had 19 points and led all scorers off the bench, which is great. Second game of 19 for Ross, and I've been critical of him in the past, but he played pretty well during this stretch of games. Then it was the Nets on November 19th, a 115-113 loss. There was no KD, but there was KL. Yes. Kyle was at this game, so I want to get your thoughts on this in a second. But my thoughts were that Aldridge is now Tim Duncan level good. Patty Mills has no business being on this team. I don't know how he should be a starter somewhere, but he's not.
Yeah.
And damn, Harden is just pissing me off. I do not like watching this guy. He shot 7 of 25 from the field, but hits 19 of 20 free throws. So he ends up with 36 points. He's just not a fun player for me to watch. He's great on a step back, but other than that, he's only looking for contact. He's only driving and going for contact. The Magic had a record level amount of fouls in this game, despite taking that approach where they wanted to back off and let Harden come in and let him go. They weren't trying to get into that contact, but the refs were like, nope, we're used to seeing contact, so we're calling it. Suggs had 17 first quarter points in this game.
Oh my God.
They had 4 the rest of the game.
I was so live when I think he hit 3 threes or in that first quarter. I was amped up. I had an 8-year-old shouting at me, "Magic are trash." I was putting them back. So I'm like, no, we're not. We're gonna go the champion. Let's go, Suggs. But it didn't end up for us. Didn't end up going down that way, Pish.
But again, all our starters were in double figures. We had 17 points from Okiki and 15 from Ross off the bench, which you love to see. And again, 113 points. We only lose by 2 to the Nets. Now, granted, they're missing KD, they're missing Kyrie in this game, obviously, but they're still a very good team. So watch out for the Nets out of the East. They're nice. Speaking of nice teams in the East, then we got to go play the Bucks back to back. And on November 20th, which is a game that it's probably okay for you to remember, it was 117 to 108 was the final. The bench was all over this game with a great comeback. And I love that Mosley stayed with the bench during the comeback. He didn't put the starters back out there to try to finish off. And he made the Bucks starters come back out to try to work hard to get it. Rolo had some big minutes, and I love the stuff he did. He was rebounding the ball, and it was good to see him back in the game. I'd like to see more from him in the future. And then, of course, there was the Bucks game the other night, November 22nd, the 123 to 92, which looks kind of respectable compared to the way this thing felt. This one is the massacre, the Milwaukee massacre, and it was not good. And I don't watch it. There really isn't much to see here. The bench didn't play well. The starters didn't play well. You know what? Mama said there'd be days like this, and that was just one of those days. I got to have a short memory and get going here. But my overall thought from what I learned from all the games is we are only going to go as far as the bench takes us. Our starters are very good. They can put up some decent minutes, but we need Ross. We need Okiki. We need Harris when he comes back. We need those guys contributing to win games. So if we're going to get W's, we need more from the bench.
I love that. I got to go back. I got a joke that encapsulates the Milwaukee Bucks experience. Are you ready for it, Pich?
I'm always ready for a good joke.
Okay. What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. What do you call, Pich, a deer with no eyes and no legs? Still no idea. Pich, what do you call a deer with no eyes, no legs, and no testicles? And I know a deer is not a buck and it doesn't have testicles already, but just go with the joke. What do you call a deer with no eyes, no legs, and no testicles? Still no fucking idea, Pich. And we had no idea how to stop the Bucks. And it was a wake-up call that we still have a long way to go in this rebuild, ladies and gentlemen.
For sure. I mean, in that first Bucks game, which we actually made a nice bench comeback to make it interesting.
Right.
I mean, you had Giannis going for 32 and 20 boards. You had Portis going for 24 and 15. Wouldn't it be nice to have a couple big men that could put up numbers like that?
I thought we did, though. I think we do. I thought Wendell Carter Jr. has been our most consistent player, and Mo can put it up. I just think that we needed Rolo earlier in that second game. It's weird to say that, but in what he does, he's a lane clogger. So it doesn't really. Yeah. What did I do?
Well, you can't speak too loudly when Giannis is shooting free throws. You got to give him the space. That's what we learned from Rolo. But I liked him out there. I liked him pointing guys around. He felt like a leader out there. It was almost like having a coach on the floor. Yeah, he's a little bit slower and he's not as good as he used to be. But
now you're the one being generous. You're the one being generous now. He's a cone out there. But the point being, we needed him more than Moritz's style in that game. And I think Mosley, if we could have gone to Rolo a little bit earlier. I'm not saying it would have turned the game around, but I just feel like it was good to clog up the lane and not have Giannis get all those easy looks.
Conversely, if you're looking for a bright spot in that massacre, Moritz led us in scoring with 18 points. So that's how you know it was a weird game.